guys, today is part 2 of the 40 iconic restaurants that no longer exist. So let's get started. Number 11, Boston Sea Party. It's in the late 70s. It was hard to find a theme restaurant that didn't do well, but by far the most inventive was Boston Sea Party, the nautical theme restaurant that served up unbelievable deals on seafood. As weight was scattered across the country, and it was scattered across the country. However, the chain closed quietly over the years, and the last one was shut down in 1994. Number 12 was Chasen's or Chasen's. I'm not sure if I said this right. In 1936, Chasen's opened and instantly drew in a flurry of Hollywood clientele. Over the years, the West Hollywood restaurant became famous for its academy after parties as much as it was known for its chili, but after 24 years, the glamorous watering hole closed in 1995. Next one is the Burger Chef. Starting with a small shop in Indiana in 1954, Burger Chef eventually grew to over 1,000 locations and rivaled fast food giant McDonald's. After years of success, the owners sold the popular burger joint to Hardee's in 1982. Sadly, the last storefront with the name closed in 1996. Wow, that's crazy. 1,000 locations. I guess some places can beat McDonald's. However, that's crazy that it shut down. Maybe they just didn't either want to run it anymore, couldn't run it anymore. I'd like to learn about that one maybe. Next one is 14, Mr. Steak. Mr. Steak was a quality yet affordable steakhouse that took the United States by storm in the 60s. After starting as a small operation in Colorado Springs, the chain eventually grew to over 200 restaurants in the US and Canada. In the 1980s, the restaurant began to decline as it switched up menu items in favor of more chicken and fish. Eventually, pieces of franchise were sold off and slowly dwindled, with the last location closing in the mid-1900s. Next one is Kenny Rogers Roasters. So country singer Kenny Rogers ventured into the chicken business in 1991. His chain restaurant, which focused on casual dining, never grew to tremendous popularity. However, it was memorialized on the sitcom Seinfeld, and some remain in operation in Asia. Oh, that would have been so cool. I bet you, I don't know, I wonder why that wasn't so popular. Maybe because of all the other ones that were going on. Like all the other competitive fried chicken stuff, or it wasn't in the proper location, or it wasn't the proper times yet. I'm curious as to why it was not why it wasn't like trendy at all. I bet you I wonder if the chicken was phenomenal. Bet you it was. Anyways, number 16, Sign of the Dove. Sign of the Dove is considered one of the lost gems of New York City. After closing and eventually being demolished in 1998, the hole it left in the landscape was more than physical. One of many iconic Upper East Side eateries owned by the Santo family group, the fine dining experience in its garden of stained glass was said to have been magnificent. That would have been cool to see. It looks beautiful. I'll do my best this time to leave the link below so you guys could go take a peek at this article. Number 17 is Fashion Cafe. In the 90s, one restaurant group decided to capitalize on the era of the supermodel fashion cafe in New York City, gathered iconic models together like Naomi Campbell, Cindy Crawford, Elle Macpherson, and Claudia Schiffer to endorse it. However, the international chain ceased operations in 1999. So this one didn't really take a turn, sadly. So it didn't seem to go far, but still neat idea. Like, you could be fashionable anywhere you go. However, if this one's specifically to dress up, like, that's pretty neat. Number 18 is Valley's Steakhouse. Found in 1933, Valley Steakhouse saw huge expansion during the 60s by embracing the dining trend of leaning toward a menu full of steak and lobster. Over the next decade, it saw huge expansion, which unfortunately was cut short by the 70s economic crisis. The chain never fully bounced back, but hung on for a long time. The last restaurant shut down in 2000. Sorry. Um, wow. At least it made it to the 2000s. However, I did have a question, and if anyone in the comment below can answer me, is when did steak become a very, like, per se fancy meal? I was always being curious about that. And what what is fancier than steak to you? To me, it'd be seafood. That would be for me. Personally, I love seafood. But what is it about steak? Is it because it's a higher cut, like, cost because of the cut of the steak? Or the cut of the cow. Just let me know in the comments what you guys think it is. I'd love to hear more about that. 19. Next one, La Petite Boulangerie. If I had said that wrong, sorry about that. It's an American bakery chain. La Petite Boulangerie, or Little Bakery, did indeed start out small with only 2 stores in the beginning. In 1982, the company was bought by PepsiCo and expanded across the United States. The company is famous for its own warm croissants, had 93 stores in its peak, but eventually closed down in 2000. Oh, wow. Okay, so it had 93 stores, but it started out with 2. It's so cool to read these because it's a sign of don't give up on yourself ever. Everyone starts small. You always gotta start small to get to the big. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, it's not all gonna come right away. And these stories kind of tell you. And I know some of them close their doors, but some of them last a long time. They last up until you're retired, really. So next one, and this is the last one that I'll go over tonight, the original Spago. The restaurant of the world-renowned chef Wolfgang Puck became a Hollywood hangout when it opened in 1982 on the Sunset Strip. Although Puck owns other locations of Spago, in 2001 the chef decided to close down the original, which had become an institution amongst Hollywood's heavy hitters. Cool. So that's neat. I wish, sorry, it doesn't say what he served though. I wish these restaurants would mention what they were popular for. I know some of them did, but that's okay. Of course, some of them are just strictly their seafood or steak. I would love to go see California and eat all the famous food or eat at the famous restaurants. I know last year when I was in Vegas, we ate at Legacy, Emerald Legacy, and it was really good food. No complaints on my end. I spoiled myself that evening. It was a lot of fun. I'd go back and try it again. We tried all different sorts of seafood, the tuna, octopus. We had sweet potato chips. We had not oysters but mussels. So good, so well done. That's why I want to go and eat at more of the famous guys' restaurants like Gordon Ramsay and Hell's Kitchen. I've eaten there before, but that was over 10 years ago, and I want to go eat at that place again. So cool. Again, another those restaurants to add on your bucket list. Too bad we can't add add these to our bucket list, nor can we go and visit them, sadly, but that's okay. At least they are very known, and it's something to think about in history and honor the history of it. Anyways, that is it for me tonight. So that is part 2, and we have 2 more parts to get through, and then we'll move on to more abandoned places all across the world. I wanted to talk about Canada a little bit more because that's where I'm from, of course, and then we'll get into the States because there's a lot of places to get into there, and then we'll get into other countries and continents. Anyways, you guys have a great rest of your evening. Keep smiling, keep shining, and we will chat soon. Bye now.